sports fans. This is Josh Lyons coming at you live from beautiful downtown Los Angeles, California. Um, I've been invited by a high school friend, a good buddy of mine, David Davenport, to speak to the Buzz Sports community, and with the ability to be down here live in Los Angeles for the Rose Bowl game tomorrow. Coming at you live with some of my takes, some of my perspective and insights on the football team. To give you a little bona fides for me, Indiana University graduate '06, probably somewhere in the realm of 100 plus football games attended between 2001 and today. 5 live games this year, both home and away, and attending the Rose Bowl game. Followed the team pretty closely. Both football, baseball is probably my specialty, as well as Indiana basketball. So grew up in the era of IU being quite terrible at football, and really only hoping that we could pull off a Rose Bowl or a bucket game victory against Purdue to salvage any losing portion of the season, especially being an IU guy born and raised in Indiana and hating all things black and gold. But enough of that for me today. We can get into that in the future. What I want to talk about is some of the insights that I talked to. I said take earlier. I'm not a big fan on takes, but I am big on opinions, insight, analysis, listening to other people's opinions, and having and providing discourse. I think it's one of the things that we're lacking at the moment across both the sports culture as well as just the American culture, listening, critically thinking about other people's opinions and the validity in those things. So here are some of mine. You can take it or leave it. Feel free to hit me back, make some argumentative points. No skin off my back. I've been issued thick skin from the United States military, so all good. Apologize for the camera view and any of the sound issues. Doing this alone and unafraid out here in a California hotel room, downtown Omni. So here's my takes for tomorrow. One, do I think Indiana's going to win? Yes. Why? Right. So that's the follow-up question. I think that breaks into probably 3 points. The first being tomorrow's weather is, and as I was coming into the hotel, it is warm and drizzling, which means the field is going to be saturated. It's supposed to rain overnight. Not only is it supposed to rain overnight, it's supposed to rain the entirety of the game. I think that with that being the case, with a saturated field and with a wet game, you're looking then at most likely a running game. And I truly believe that when we talk run offense and run stop defense, Indiana has a great numerical advantage on that. What I think you're going to see is betting wise, I think you're going to see an under game. I believe the line is 48.5. What I see are some very long, slow, deliberate drives. I believe Alabama is going to try to do what Ohio State did a decent job of, and some other teams that they've kind of figured out, or at least watched tape on Kurt Signetti. We can score fast, and we can also control the ball and own time on the board. I think Alabama is going to try to do that, especially given the weather. And I think Indiana's going to score fast. I don't think that Indiana's going to have a huge issue, whether it's on the ground with our three-headed back lineup, all healthy. And I think there are going to be some decent, probably short passes, very crisp and accurate. I think that plays into, nothing long, maybe some chunk plays after the catch. But I think Mendoza is going to keep it short. I think he's going to keep it quick as far as pass plays go. And I think the drives on both sides are going to be deliberate and long, which when that's the case, that means you're going to have fewer scoring opportunities, which is going to drive that underplay. I do think that it will be interesting to see what the coin toss is right out of the top of the key. I would. I want to say that if Indiana wins, we are not going to defer. We're going to take the ball and score. For that reason, I would give Indiana the first touchdown. But I also don't think that Kurt Signetti and the team captains, are afraid of getting the ball second and having to play defense first. I think the defense, and this kind of goes on to my second point, I think the defense is going to be an interesting lineup and decision maker for the game. Again, we're talking wet field. We're talking a lot of work on those lines happening, slips, falls, spills. Those things are going to happen. And because Indiana has shown the ability to be disciplined, or at least more disciplined than Alabama, disciplined and deliberate in their decision making. Very few offsides, very few poor penalties, very few basically defensive calls against them. I think that what you're going to see is a deliberate defense playing slowly, methodically, sticking to Skip Signetti's plan, and I think that that's going to result in Indiana seeing some good defensive scoring opportunities. One of the things that interests me is the matchup that Ty Richardson may see with some of his receivers versus D'Angelo Pons. And so Angelo Pons, as we all know, if you've been following IU football this year, quick, very great hands, very good ability to read plays, and because of his intuition on plays and his athleticism, he's very able to bottom line, intercept the ball and get in front of other players. What I see it as the counter to that, because he's been so successful, is both the height and the athleticism of the Alabama five stars. And so, the point that I want to bring up in Alabama's favor, just as it was with Ohio State, is, Indiana fields no five stars and less than 10 four stars. I believe it's 7. Alabama's team is built on the NIL. I mean, they have 11 five stars, nationwide recruiting, and 40 something, give or take. I don't have the stats in front of me. 4 stars. Very similar squad when you talk paper talent as Ohio State. In fact, a little bit better than Ohio State. But what we've seen is that athleticism on paper doesn't necessarily equate to yards, touchdowns, and wins. I mean, as is evidenced in their losses this season, and especially I've got the Cotton Bowl on right now. I mean, real time, I believe the SEC is 2-5, and 0 when it comes to playing Power 5 teams. And so when you look at Alabama's resume being built on the back of teams who are losing and have not won against better than 500 teams, the SEC hype and the SEC bubble's kind of busted in that they've kind of been propped up, and their stats are propped up on hollow victories and hollow catches, receptions, touchdowns, etc. So, all that being said, tomorrow is tomorrow. Tomorrow's Alabama versus Indiana. First time that they've played this squad. Both teams are decently healthy. Indiana has Omar Cooper Jr. back. Huge boon, huge gain back for us after being injured in the Big Ten game. But the matchup that, if I had to say that I'm worried about, is going to be Ty Richardson's ability to put the ball into the hands of the 6'4", 6'5" wide receivers in the flats against D'Angelo Pons. I think that he, again, quick, very good ability to read the play, might even come up with an interception, multiple tips. I do expect at least one of those two things to happen, but I think that when you look at just that pure athleticism and height, there's just an advantage there, and you can't negate that. You can you can mitigate it, and I think that that's probably what Coach worked on with Pons and some of the secondary this week, because our secondary is small compared to the Alabama receivers. But the same thing played out against Ohio State. So it's not that we don't have the ability to defend, um, but rather how have we prepared, and has Coach prepared them, or at least got them in the right mindset to be able to read plays and make those instinctual decisions in real time as they have in past games. So that would be the second thing I'm going to be watching tomorrow for. I think that's going to be a big indicator of how well IU will do overall. I think the next, and it kind of comes back to my first point with the weather and the rain and the advantage kind of going to Indiana's backs, is that what I'm seeing on the O line, especially now that that IU has gotten back its some of its injured O line players. What you're not seeing is as much a reliance on Pat Coogan, the center, to have to pull left right plays and block for A, the runners, and B, for Mendoza. So with that being said, Pat Coogan, All-American, played for Notre Dame last year, starting All-American center this year. He was really doing a lion's share of the quick blocking and any of the special pulling blocks that had to be done for that O line when we had honestly, our second and third string. What was it? Left guard, and right tackle. And so, with him able to control that box and control that line, and the big guys being healthy again, what I think that does is it really anchors the offense, and it provides both Hemby, Kalon Black. It's going to provide them with the premier blocking that they've had most of the season, and I think probably most importantly, it's going to allow Mendoza the time he needs in any pocket to make a decision. And why I say that that's particularly important for tomorrow is that because the weather is going to be raining, the field is going to be muddy and sloggy, and I think that the I don't want to say priority, but the first decision that the QB is going to have to make at the line is, do I hand the ball off, or are we throwing? And because he's going to have that bolstered line, healthy back, and under the captaincy of Coogan, I think it's going to buy him those few extra seconds that a Heisman level decision maker needs to figure out, what is the D telling me right now? What is the game situation? Do we need the run? Do we need the pass? But ultimately, are the receiver? Am I going to be able to put this ball where the receivers need it? And in my opinion, that's a quarterback on the line decision making, 0.5 whatever microseconds that they have to be able to make. I think that it benefits us that the option is always there to hand that ball off to some very, very high quality running, and have those blockers up front be able to clear that line and gain us a few yards, if not big chunk play yards. But I think ultimately what it comes down to is that a healthy line with a good captain center capable of commanding his line is going to, earth shattering. It's going to give that QB more decision making time, and I think that tomorrow that's going to be very critical. And I think as long as Mendoza can cycle through his options, through his work down through his card within his mind of what he's looking at and what the defense is showing him, I think we're going to be set. I think there's going to probably be, I would say, probably 2 to 3 big pass plays tomorrow for some yards. Maybe not a touchdown, but for some decent yards. And it's all on that QB being able to read the line, being able to tell what the wind is doing at that moment, what the rain may be doing that moment, where they are field position wise, completely situationally dependent. So that I like our ability to do that. I've seen it multiple times this year, given multiple different weather, variables, and Mendoza has shown time and time again his ability to make those calls live action and it benefit the team. So, those are kind of the 3 points I think I'm interested in tomorrow. So to recap, we're looking at the weather being a factor, and the fact that I think it's going to play in Indiana's favor. 2, the health of watching the Cotton Bowl, the health of the O line, being able to enable quicker decisions by Fernando. I think that's going to be very important. And then looking at that defense matchup, the one-on-ones for Alabama when it comes to the receiving core, and really Ty Richardson's ability to make those decisions quickly and catch the mismatchups, or at least the matchups that he likes or he favors for his receivers. I think those 3 things, whichever way they go, pro IU against IU, pro Alabama against Alabama, I think those things are going to end up making kind of the difference makers for the outcome of the game. Looking at the past, the Miami just scored against Ohio State, so just to keep you updated. But looking at the outcome so far, my closing parting shot, if I had anything, is, what are we talking about with this SEC? That I can't even tell you how many years I've had to sit back and watch either Michigan or Ohio State be the sacred lamb of the Big Ten, whilst we are force-fed from ESPN and all the media talking heads, how great the SEC is. I think this year really, I don't even want to say exposed. I mean, I think it brought the truth to light when you're looking at a conference that's 2-6, I believe, right now, and a conference that's 6-0, and the fact that Alabama, it's the SEC conference's sacred cow, claiming all season, and Paul Feinbaum of ESPN and the bias that they have, claiming that the gauntlet that they had to go through. The teams that they had to gauntlet through were beat pretty handedly by non-Power 5 teams in the bowl season. So, and people will come back and say, well, maybe they didn't have their starters playing. Maybe, guys had already decided to hit the portal. Yeah, there's some of that. That's true. And I would say that's pretty accurate. And generally the teams that are kind of the lower seed want to play up, but it's just a real interesting look at how the dynamics of conferences have shifted. The generic cliche is going to be that once the NIL hit and the CFP leveled the bubble with how they allocate teams and how they allocate the positions for the CFP, that the SEC lost some of its dominance because money could go to different schools. I would agree. I mean, obviously there's common sense behind that, but then immediately looking at the school that I'm wearing a shirt and a hat from, got no 5 stars and less than 10 4 stars. So if it's all about NIL money, levering the conference, or leveling the field of play and the competitive advantage, I think there's truth to that. But I think what the CFP has done more than anything is that where it's actually aligned the importance of the variables of a coach, key position players, and schedule all coming together in a very unique stew, if it were, and just I don't want to say the stars aligning, but essentially the stars aligning, and being able to maximize the efficiency of the team on the schedule that it's presented. And IU is the huge beneficiary of that, especially last year and this year. I mean, the coach came at the right time. He brought players from JMU, supplemented with players that we had before. The schedule was favorable last year. We did what we had to do. Same thing with this year. I mean, and beneficiary because of last year's performance, we got the highest ranking quarterback transfer in the portal. And I think that's what you're going to continue to see, whether it be an Ohio State, Alabama, whatever, is that when the portal opens up and the confluence of schedule, player, position players, team dynamic, coach, all those things kind of come together with the NIL money, you're going to be able to have a breakout performance and put together a very, very decent season. And that's how I kind of want to picture that the NIL has changed, or at least adapted. And I think the big thing is going to be, now that that's the case, what colleges can either negate or negate the benefits that an IU or an Alabama or Ohio State or whomever is seeing, but also who can adapt faster. And that's why I'm very interested in, I had a conversation today with a gentleman at one of the airport bars, and we were talking, what if a Central Michigan University alum who's a, declining octogenarian with billions wants to just all of a sudden throw down, $2 billion to build an entirely new stadium, put it into the coaching staff, put it into recruits. And I was talking to him, I said, yeah, that's awesome. And that's part of it. But then there also has to be, you still have to get the right coach at the right time, the right staff at the right time, the right players at the right time, and a favorable schedule to win that conference championship, to then get you the bid into the college playoffs, and then all those things be applicable to the opponent that you face that's non-conference in the playoff. And I'll wrap up here, but I think that is one of those things that Indiana has going for it this season, in that they can take advantage of all those things and do it with humility, do it with class, and have fun and be entertaining for non-Indiana people. So that is the conclusion. I just watched Miami pick 6 from Sayan. So the Ohio State is down right now 14-0 versus Miami, which is a unforeseen crisis probably in the Ohio land, but not really too concerned for us. But yep. So this is Josh Lyons, downtown LA on New Year's Eve. The first informal podcast or discussion on IU sports. What you can look forward to is big IU sports, mostly the 3 major sports: Indiana football, men, women basketball, and baseball. Although I also follow the Governor's Cup because I don't like Purdue, so every sport that we can beat Purdue at, I kind of follow a little bit in order to track that Governor's Cup, which we're down right now, actually, even though we won football this year. But the follow on, the next thing will be spring. So we'll coming up. I've already been to 2 IU basketball games, and then we'll have a Pacers game, and we can talk Pacers, we talk Colts, we can talk Cubs. Baseball is my foray. Once we're these doggone winter meetings are over slash ongoing at the moment, and the Cubs have done little to impress me as a lifelong Cubs fan, but that is an entirely different half hour or hour or multiple half hours to discuss. But this is Josh, and signing out until next time. Have a good one, guys.